Everybody, it's Cassie Oelberg in Grove, Pennsylvania. I am here today to continue our Traveling Through Sketches the Fabulous Way. This is week 2 of the Creative Memories virtual crop. If you do not do the virtual crop, then I highly recommend you hop over there. But we are going to talk about stretching a one-page spread into 2 pages, go over some fun with circles, changing out blades on the trimmer, magic mats, and a couple of other little things. So let's go ahead and jump right over to my desktop. Well, okay, so this was the second sketch from the Creative Memories virtual crop. And you've probably noticed you can go in and print this off from the blog, which is really nice to have all of them in front of you. And sometimes I make them big so that I can see them a little bit better. But really, this is all I need to kind of get an idea of what I want to do. So this was the page. And then this is what I stretched it into with the 2-page spread. And let's just take a look at what these Fast-to-Fab pages look like before I started turning them into the sketch. Oh, they don't even match. So it's really important to know that you can do all kinds of fun things whenever you're just building and using them as background paper and picking and choosing which parts you keep. So I took these 2 pages and I turned them into these 2 pages. So let's talk about how. The first thing I wanted to do was cover up this top part. I wanted it to match the rest of the page, and there wasn't a color that was exactly like this, so I just went ahead and used this and pulled that across my page using the same paper when I turned it into a 2-page spread. When I do something like this, I take and I measure and I see what I need to cover up. So I need to cover up about 3 inches. And this border is going to be about 1.5 inches of that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut myself a 2-inch strip. Now, I have some paper left over from our Creative Cafe International event this weekend. I used Noteworthy for that too, because it is a stunning collection. So here is this 2-inch strip. And I'm going to go ahead and put this down right across the top. Now, next up, I would like to do a border across here. Oh, not quite yet, because I want to do the circle. Layers. It's all about the layers, right, guys? If you do the layer in the wrong order, it doesn't work. Okay. So this part came right from the sketch. It tells us that it is the jumbo circle on the inside with the blue blade. So it's really nice that they give us those measurements. A couple of things to note when you're cutting with the custom cutting system is if you put a piece of kitchen cloth, which you can get at any dollar store, it's usually in the dishes section, underneath your mat, it helps it not slide around on the table. So that has come in super handy for me. Another thing to note is we're using the blue blade, and that cuts, let me show you, 3/8 of an inch away from here. So when you're putting it down on the paper, know that you can get close to the edge, and that way you conserve paper, which will come in handy in a minute. Okay, so then you just make sure that you have both feet into the groove. That is a common mistake where one of the feet is on the paper and then it cuts it all up. Okay. And then we're just going to take it and we want to slice off a piece there and a piece there. So I brought it over so that I cut off approximately 1 inch. And this was at approximately 7 inches. And that worked out nice for me. And that's going to go down here. And then I need to slice a piece off the top You just turn it. So this is at the top. And then what I did was I put this up against here to create a corner. So now I just have these two little pieces that I'm going to be able to use. So this is the next layer. Now don't worry about this brown. We'll cover that up next. Just going to go down in the corner. And next I need to put on my border. And I used a decorative edge on both sides. So we just flip it over, and what's nice is you have all of these underneath, and you just decide what you want it to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the wave. And then to change the blade, you just have to open the little chamber, pop in your new blade. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut off just a little bit to give myself the weave on this side. Now I need it to be 1.5 inches. Pull it over to the 1.5 inches. And now I have my wavy border. And this is just going to go down right here. And then I put another strip right down through the center here. I like how that pulls that together. It looks super cute. I'm going to cut off. I don't remember what I think that says 1 inch. Yep, and it is 1 inch. Okay. And see how that conservation of paper came in handy? Center that across here. And then you just take one of these here. There's a few people that joined me today. Just not sure who's here. And then this one's going to go up here, and I tucked it just a little. Forgot to bring my multi-purpose tool over. That's always a tool that's handy to have around. And there we go. Now, I am going to show you after I'm done putting both pages together. Hi, Karen. I always keep my pictures. I have little piles of what goes together. And so when I'm working on sketches, I can kind of go out of order if I need to, put it on a different page. You know, so these are my upcoming pages. I have 4 upcoming pages here, so I can decide which fits best there. Okay, so then I did the opposite page. I used this, and it was really fun because it just took this blue across the page, and I made this triangle. Now, things to note whenever you're trying to make something like that is that you need to measure up and see how far up this goes. So that's about 4.5 inches up to cover that up. And then I want it to go over at least 10 inches, probably a little bit more than 10 inches. I think I did 11 inches on this page. So we're going to cut that off. So we already cut 1 inch off of this. So I want to go all the way to that corner. I want to measure up 4.5 inches on here. Okay. And mark that. And then I'm going to put this onto the trimmer and put it down here. Put the corner down here. And now I can just bring this down And these little slides are amazing for making sure that you have it right where you want it. So that's there. And now I've used one piece of paper and I've spread this gorgeous paper across 2 pages. I've used the back to back backgrounds, but I've changed it up to the way I want it. You know what? I think I only measured up to 4 1/4, guys. Make sure you go to 4 1/2. I'm not going to panic though. I am going to cut myself. Look at this little sliver more. So when you're scrapbooking, just remember, it's scrapbooking, guys. Don't panic. I'm going to bring this over. Slice that too thin. Right again. I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. So this is a technique that you can use whenever you're trying to cut a very tiny sliver and you're on camera. And so, of course, you feel a little nervous. And so you're wiggling things around a little. Perfect. Now I'm just going to take this. Put it along the bottom, and then I will use my micro scissors to trim it off where I need it. I'm going to put this right here. And this is great. You know, I like it whenever little things like that happen while I'm on camera because it shows how you can fix it if you kind of measure wrong or you do something a little bit different than what you meant to do. Because we all do that sometimes. Okay. Yep, there we go. So just make sure that goes all the way up to 4 1/2 whenever you go to do it. Or measure it to whatever you're going to cover. There you go. Okay. Next up, we are going to take this little piece of paper that was, again, from my class this past weekend. And easy peasy, I'm going to cut this. Now, remember what I said earlier. Do you remember? This is going to cut 3/8 of an inch away because it's the blue blade. So I want to make sure that I'm going to be completely on the paper. So before it made it so that we could be off the paper, and that was a good thing. This time we want to make sure that we're completely on the paper. Now, guys, did you see how if I tried to go that way, it kind of slipped? That's because there wasn't a lot of paper there, and I started partway through, not all the way on the paper. So I just started here and went back, and then I went that way, and that made it so it didn't slip. Okay. Now this is going to go down. We need a bigger one this time. Aha. That was my plan. I was going to cover that. Okay. Now I want to add my pictures. So I don't necessarily follow exactly what the this is the layout. Exactly what the layout shows whenever I do it. I lay my pictures out and I see what looks good. So here we are on the London Eye. This up here, and then I want some of these. This over here a little. We're going to do magic mats in a second to mat these. This was just such a cool view. And we were on it with some really fun people too, so they were taking pictures for us. In fact, I have one more picture I'm going to leave a spot for. I just remembered that my son got somebody to get a whole group of us. So I'm going to add one more picture there. I did pull out the mats that would be appropriate for this. See, look, this would match it. I could use this to match it like I did in the example. Or I could do this. This would go nice with it. So I am actually going to leave it as a mat because I'm going to put one more picture. And then I am going to put this over here because really all I need to say about this is that it's the London Eye. I might jot a little bit up there about the nice people that we met on the London Eye, but honestly, probably not. Ooh, maybe I like this better. And so oftentimes I will take these and I will cut them down to the size I want. And I'm going to mat this like the same way I mat my pictures. So this was at 3 1/4. And then this direction won't be also 3 1/4. I'm going to do 3 1/2 this way. So 3 1/2. So I want 3 3/4. At 3 1/2. You can mat this one. And now I want to mat my pictures. So I'm going to use Magic Mats. If you have not done that before, I'm going to do 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 mats. So that means that I need to start with a 10 1/2 inch square. I get that from the 4 1/4 plus 6 1/4 is 10 1/2. I use Magic Mats probably every day of my life. It's one of my favorite things to do. Because I mat a lot of pictures, and this lets me get the most out of my paper. So you just measure over to 4 1/4, and you cut down to 6 1/4. If you don't already know this, the front of the blade, the covering is an inch from where it ends cutting, so you want to bring the front down an inch past, and then your cut line is in the right spot. I'll show you that in a second. If you've not done that part before, just remember that this is the actual blade, and so this is 1 inch to the front of it. I'm going to take the rest of this and make my other mats. 6 1/4, 4 1/4 twice. And now I can mat all of these, including the picture I'm going to print out from my son's phone. Right there. And then I can finish up this page, and I can put London Eye, and then I can put a little tiny bit about the people that we met on the bike. And that's it. That's how you quickly and easily finish a sketch. And that's how you change up the size of the pictures. Oftentimes I see that on the virtual crop where people say, well, I don't have that size of pictures. It's really not that big of a deal. Just change up how you're going to do it. Don't you love how we flip the cardstock over to tape things down to it as if it's going to change? It's over here. It's over here. That here. And then I just need to print that picture, and I will have another double page spread done of our trip over Christmas. So thank you for traveling through Sketches the Fabulous Way with me. I appreciate you being here. And if you have not gotten the Noteworthy collection, the designer paper and the Tone on Tones bag and free shipping is happening through March 7th. So you don't want to miss out on the super cute stuff. Okay. Have a great day, and thanks so much for joining me.